know me, I'm Sarah, and I'm Q's daughter. And if anyone was an out-of-towner, it would be me. But been out of town for, most of my life. And I was invited to the family, in my mid-20s. Me and my first child, and then my second, third, and my fourth. And I think that verse in Ephesians that says, He will give you abundantly more than you hope for or imagine. And I think of the family. And from a pretty young age, I knew I wanted to find my birth mother. It was just here. I just knew. And when it was time, I knew. God told me. He said, now. That's all he said. He said, now. I said, okay. And I thought of walking down welfare. And within 10 weeks, I was in graduate school at the time, in marriage and family therapy. And from the time the quarter started, there was an instigator, a speaker that came, that led me to do that. And by the end of the quarter, I had talked with my mother. I had never talked in my life. I was 25. And it's been abundantly more than I could hope or imagine. All of you, your talents, your gifts, most of all, your love for each other. So, about Grandpa particularly, it's short because obviously I didn't have the privilege of spending as much time with him as you all did, and it's a huge blessing to hear your story. His legacy lives on through your stories. I'm receiving them. I'm texting them as fast as I can to my husband. This is my children's legacy. It's a beautiful, special, amazing family. And I feel very privileged to be here with you all. About Grandpa, the first most poignant thing I can think of is that I can echo what everyone has said, without words, he gave you the sense that he loved you. He was quiet. I didn't get projects done. I didn't get quippy, witty stories from him. But what I did get was, the first time I met him, I walked away, and this doesn't happen to me very often. I'm sure it's happened to all of you before. Rarely. You meet someone, and you walk away, and you think, what's up? I love that person. I don't even know them, and I love them. And that's how I felt about Grandpa. I loved him. It was here. His heart, without words, touched mine. And I felt his care. I felt his approval. I felt his love. And I reciprocated that just spontaneously. The best memory, and one of the only ones I really have that's special, is when he came to Seattle. He did travel all the way to Seattle, surprise. All these stories of where he traveled for all of you and me is quite something. So Mike and Grandpa came, and it wasn't like, hi, we'll come for a few hours. No, they wanted to take us to the top of the Stacey. And so that's where we went. He made it special. And he was a beautiful man. And I'm blessed to be able to get to know him better through all of your stories. So I thank you for having me here, and I thank you for sharing your stories. And I look forward to hearing more.
I loved my grandfather. He was a great influence on the main things when I think about him that I can remember is being another out-of-towner from Cincinnati. A visit from Uncle Mike and Grandpa wasn't out of the ordinary, and he really knew what people needed. I remember, when my father was gone, before my parents got divorced, my father was there a lot less frequently. He started to be there 3 months out of the year, 2 months out of the year. The visits from Uncle Mike and Grandpa got a lot more frequent, and they always made it special. really, like we all said, he's nurturing, but it's not like he's a big talker or anything like that. He knew if he needed to drive 4 hours down to Cincinnati because his daughter and his grandchildren, you know, needed some time, then there would be no doubt about it that he would be in the car with Uncle Mike coming down as soon as he could. Also, I know he's had a big impact because this isn't just some cheesy thing. I can really see my grandfather and everyone, you know, all my aunts and uncles, they have pretty similar humor. I've kind of been up here crying and telling jokes for the past couple hours. You know, we got some really creative people here. They're all creative in different ways. I can see my grandfather and all my aunts and uncles. I can see him in my cousins. I can see him in my mom. Same with my brothers and my sisters. And I think that's important because it's kind of like he's not gone. So it kind of makes you rethink the idea of his legacy going on. So.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I think I was just talking with Michaela and my mom about this last night, but Grandpa just had this way, and I think probably almost everybody in this room thinks that they were his favorite. Because I know that I was favorite. But I know, but then last night I was talking to them, I'm like, oh, but Michaela was his favorite. My mom is his daughter. Okay, but it really, you know, what we're saying is like, I think that we all are his favorites. There's something about each one of us that is a little bit different, that's why we're his favorite. And I don't know, that's just really special to me. And, you know, I guess my story is, I'm very much like my grandfather, and I'm such a project person. And a lot of you guys don't live with me, and so you don't see my constant projects and work, but they're all around. And so what I always love sharing, you know, I didn't talk to him that much, really, seen him that much, especially in the last few years. But I always felt like he really cared about what my projects were. So just a little bit that I got to talk to him, and I would get to tell him what I was working on, and that was fun for me. And of course, like a really, really dear memory is when both him and Uncle Mike came to, it was like my last year of college. I was doing a lot of like concrete canoe and all of these engineering projects, and there was a big competition. You know, it always comes to everyone, whatever, something competitive, they'll be there. That's why we're all competitive. And so he was there, and this was like 2 or 3 days of these different projects going on. And so him and Uncle Mike were just like in their heaven. These were like 2 or 3 days of engineering projects. And I'll just never forget, I was like intermixed doing my thing, and I was kind of getting sick of being around, but then I go into the gym where there's these like, you know, steel bridges set up, and they're like titrating water and whatever. And everyone else is kind of like, except the people doing it, is kind of disinterested, maybe some people will leave, and then you just see this older man in a fedora, and another man in suspenders, interweaved with all the college students, like looking at little projects and inspecting, and that was just, it was so dear, because I was like, they are just having so much fun. Like, they're here for me. That was really, really, I'll never forget that for sure. And of course, like at my graduation party a couple months later, it had this pool that was both indoor and outdoor, and he's just, first thing he comes in the room, he's kind of just staring at it, he's looking at his eyes, and now how do you think they keep the temperature same, both outside and inside when he's sleeping? He was always figuring it out, and that was really, you know, it was really special to me that I got to see him in April at his wedding. I'm so glad that I got to do that. It's when I was just holding Aurora's hand at this one yesterday. It was cool because I felt like you guys have like the same grip. His grandpa had this way of holding your hand that was like, he was really there. He was like holding it. It wasn't like a casual thing. I guess that's what I remember my last
one thing that I've kind of realized is that the most precious thing that you can give to someone is your time. Like, of anything, it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, you look at, think about when you're a kid and you want this gift, you want that gift, you want a car, I mean, you want a house, you know, but really the best thing, you know, my brother, we didn't give each other presents this year, and he's just like, what do you want for your birthday? I'm like, I just want to, like, come down and, like, hang out. Like, I don't even want anything, you know. But I just wanted to be with him. Just wanted his time. And one thing that Grandpa would give to anyone, and has given to everyone on countless occasions, is his time. A lot of it he's driven down. When I was in high school, you know, he drove all the way down to, well, actually, I guess it was in Columbus, but all the way down to Columbus. And he even came down to, all the way down to Fairfield on one occasion, just to watch one of his nephews, you know, play a game. So, I mean, that's like I mean, it's not even 2 hours for a game. He drove 4 hours just to watch one kid. He is 37. I mean, you know, we take it for granted, but it really is, when you think about it, it's kind of, makes it really special. So, that's kind of really my biggest